Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas. We're in the studio today by Ali Moreno. For the third day in a row, Craig Burley's here. What's
Professional.
going on? Is it? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Professional.
I've been counting. What could possibly go wrong? Julien Laurens also joins us. Jules, I want to start with a story that is now confirmed. Mo Salah is staying at Liverpool.
Yeah, he's staying. Nice official. The Saudi transfer window has closed today at 5 p.m. I mean, we told you before nothing would happen. There was not even another offer, to be fair, from Al Ittihad, from the Saudis. They made that offer, remember, on deadline day, 150 million, up to 150 million, by the way, was not even all that money in one go. And then they promised that it would come back, and they never came back. So it was pretty easy in a way. Liverpool didn't even have to face the dilemma, do we sell, do we keep, what do we do? Because there was not even another offer. So it was pretty straightforward.
Oh, there you go. I'm
There you go. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, extra time is next.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, fantastic.
Do you want to add anything to this?
He's not going.
He's not going. Right.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Well, what do you want me?
No, I don't want. No, let's not force the issue, please. Right. Let's
I've been forcing it for 3 days now.
I'm not forcing. We're moving on. So let's look. I just wanted to start with that, and then everyone knows.
Okay.
Then we can move on. I think
All right.
Well, I think people would already have known that.
How would they have known that?
They don't live in Stevie's world.
Well, some people do.
What an interesting world that is.
Come on. I hope we've got a really exciting running order today.
Why? Why would you
Well,
expect to have that?
Well, I need something to pep me up.
Right, shut up. You've already upset half journalism. OK, right, let's start off with Aaron Ramsdale. Jules, what's the latest here? The suggestions that David Raya will come in now to replace the Englishman.
Yeah, there was one newspaper in England that said that Mikel Arteta was thinking about David Raya to maybe come in. The article was quite vague, to be fair. It was saying maybe he could come in the League Cup game against Brentford. Maybe we're not really sure when. It's a possibility, but let's see when they come back from international duty. There's obviously, I mean, the next game is Everton away. It's a big game. They've been a bit of a buggy team for Arsenal lately, especially at Goodison. And then it's the North London derby against Spurs. So could Raya come in for that game? I'm not so sure. I mean, I guess he could come in for the Everton game and then play Spurs. But it would still feel like a gamble a little bit from Arteta to do it now, to do it on the back after the international break with that big Spurs game coming up very quickly after, plus the Champions League. So I don't think it's happening right now. There's always a possibility when your number 2 goalkeeper is as good as Raya, who apparently has been very good at training, especially with the ball at his feet. So it's always a possibility. But I still think that Ramsdale is safe for now.
You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
No. I've got no idea what you're going to say.
Why were you laughing there? You were like, you were sitting grinning like a Cheshire cat there.
I'm just smiling to myself, that was it. Right, go on.
I noticed you were doing that. It was like, well, has anybody heard of Kai Havertz has been good in training?
What, you going to put him in goal?
Well, I've not even heard that. I mean...
He has been good at training.
There we go.
Well, we definitely know he's not been good in games. This, for me, I mean, I don't know. David Raya might play at some point. Maybe Arteta's waiting on a big howler from Ramsdale. He certainly hasn't had it.
Yeah.
And the Man United... was it the Man United goal? No, it was the game before, the Fulham game, when Pereira scored. I don't think it was a huge howler. I mean, the big howler was from Saka. He was just trying to get himself back in the goal. So, bearing in mind, he was pretty good last year, Ramsdale, and I think maybe even better than pretty good. I know David Raya's a good goalkeeper, but this would harsh. This doesn't look to me as if it's the big... Well, it doesn't not look. This is not the big problem area for us. If he was to drop Ramsdale for David Raya and leave Havertz in the team...
Yes.
Wow.
Then it's an issue. What about the stats, Ali?
Don't care.
Oh, no. This
well, here's
started well.
Oh, no. Well, I guess I should care now.
There you are.
Look, what I would say about Aaron Ramsdale...
He's never punched a cross. Think of the children.
The worst. The worst of the worst in the Premier League. What I would say about Ramsdale and making this decision, and if you're Arteta, is that what are you gaining here? And is the damage that you put forth in that locker room and that feeling of the team, is that bigger than whatever you're gaining by putting David Raya on the field? And there's no guarantee that you put Raya on the field, now all of a sudden he has a mistake in him. And then what happens? Then what do? You know, once you make this choice...
Raya's coming in and punching him.
Yes. Once you make this choice, once you decide, you know what? It's no longer Ramsdale, it's Raya, you cannot go back to Ramsdale. You see, that's why this decision is so very difficult. It's one that you have to be very careful, because goalkeeping decisions are one that you have to be not only careful, thorough, but know what impact this is going to have on the team, what impact this is going to have on the locker room. You make that choice, and then you start going back and forth. Now, I think you send out a message to the rest of the players that you don't quite know exactly what you're doing, and there isn't a plan in place for you. And if the players get a hold of that, now everything gets uncomfortable. I don't know it's worth it to do that right now.
That's one of the best I've ever seen.
The stats.
Punch.
There you
Well,
go.
that whole, I don't know what to call it. But, you know, whenever you see a goalkeeper, when I say a goalkeeper coming out, a lot of times, you're screaming at him to catch it, and he punches it.
Right.
And yet we've somehow conjured up a stat that said he hasn't punched the ball.
Jules, you like stats?
I do. I just think it's hard to compare, Raya, who was playing for Brentford before, of course, and Ramsdale in that defence. What I would say, to go along a bit with what Ali just said, this defence, this back five, Zinchenko, White, Saliba, Gabriel, have been really used to play with Ramsdale in goal. Of course, you can have another goalkeeper and they will adapt and they will get used to it. They will find the bearings and all of that, but they are used to play with Ramsdale, and it's working well. He's worked really well last season. It can always be better, of course, but you also have no guarantee that it will be better with Raya. So I agree. I think it's a bit early in the season to think about that big move.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.